This is a campaign set in the Demon Gate setting, produced by Arcanum Syndicate and created by me. Hello to all, I'm Rogue, and I am the creator of the dark fantasy setting that is Demon Gate. If you're interested in purchasing or even helping out, you may do so at www.arcanumsyndicate.com. You can purchase the book at DriveThruRPG, both in PDF or hardback. Also, I want to give some shout outs to all those great artists that are helping us to make tokens and backgrounds. Those of you who use Roll20 or play any VTTs at all are bound to have seen some of the amazing maps of Gabriel Picard and David Hemingway. We'll throw the links down below. Also, great music and composers. I'm sure you've heard Tim at Tabletop Audio and Kevin MacLeod. Nelly DL did a lot of layout art in the book and with this beautiful setup that we have here, which was also created by our very own Matihi, who is here now. Be sure to check her out on Twitch, where she's doing some awesome live streams and videos thanks to Emma Panada. Is that how you pronounce it? Emma Panada?
Yeah, Emma Panada. On Tuesday nights, doing Curse of Strahd live.
Yes, nice. And Adam Schmidt did the cover art of the core book, as well as some of the token art and the races of the book. Thanks very much to him. As well, some more token art, our very own Effervescent, who is here right now. Does lovely work on the portraits, and thank you for those. She might be putting some up on Roll20 Marketplace. Joe Wetzel of Inkwell Studios, many thanks. Cody, aka Ghost, who is helping doing some writing in the new source books. And thank you, Peter, aka Wanderer, for his amazing character sheets on Roll20 and utilities. A master of programming. He is also with us now. Mike and Todd, thank you. I will throw all the info in the links below. And lastly, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Please like and subscribe to this video and let us know if you like Demon Gate. There are probably going to be some dark descriptions, maybe some gore, maybe some foul language, dark subject matters, fair warning. Good luck to everyone tonight. I hope no one dies. So let us begin. We should probably announce by voice what your character name is and who you are. Real quick. Matt, you can go first if you like.
Yeah, so I'm Matihi, of course. Not really, not of course, but you know. I am playing Serantish, who is a rabbit folk, so it's a Mentep slightly reskinned sword master. And also the twin, they have a twin.
And Wander, who you playing?
I am playing Shazad, the lizard man pirate. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And who is Effervescent playing?
I am playing Evie, a Vitagi.
And what about Una?
Well, I'm Rosalind playing Una, the bug that has a mysterious plan and is looking for their hive.
Cool. And what about Friendly Fire?
I will be playing Mintep by the name of Hey Mauhao. A roguish type. Looking for passage aboard the sky ship with Captain Shazad.
Awesome. So let's take you guys over to a little intro scene. And we will begin. Everybody have sight?
Yes.
Yep.
Is the fire supposed to be all out in the...
Ooh,
I see
side fire!
Can you see the fire? Yeah, that's cool.
See the side fire.
The tale by the fire. Welcome to the grand city of Misgard, a beautiful yet mystic place, ruled by the High Council of Magi, and the 12 appointed Grand Magi that rule over the 12 districts of the city. They rule from what is called the Grand Hall of Justice, where they train the famous Spell Guard, who hunt down criminal mages in the city. Those that are captured are thrown into a place called Iron Hall. It is a prison suspended high above the waters and appears quite formidable from your place at the NorthDawn wharves, where you look out over the city and witness its amazing view. It is the third of council, a time when, even during the day, you can see the many worlds that are close to yours in the sky. It'll be nighttime soon, and already the twin suns are fading on the horizon. You notice in the darker areas of the streets, the crystal lanterns are already coming to life. The NorthDawn wharves are a middle-class district right next to the Grand Bazaar. The scent of freshly baked bread and grilled meat are caught on the wind, as well as perfume and incense that rises from the hut of an alchemist that works down below on Trade Street, which makes its way through this area directly under your balcony. There's a bridge that leads over Trade Street, and it goes to the Tavern, where you can hear the laughter and a gentle song being played. 'Tis a warm day in the south with a cool breeze brought from the salty shores. Some of you, I think the roommates, work for the guild that runs this district. The guild is called NorthDawn, and they handle the day-to-day affairs of the ships coming in and out of the harbor. As well, they basically own many of the businesses here. Another ship is docked, and you can see floating in the waters. The captain and his people, you guys are currently in the tavern at the moment, enjoying your time on shore with good food and relaxation, or whatever you might be up to. The others, though, the two roommates, you guys are looking out over the city and have been summoned to meet up with your contact, Thelric of Elmbender, and he's at the Wharfmaster's location about a job. 'Tis good, because money is probably low and rent is due soon. So I think during this scene, we could just start with your two characters, your roommates, and you guys can tell a little bit about yourselves, your characters if you want to, and then lead into a little RP if you like.
Sure, I can start. So, Una is kind of new to the whole interacting with the world. They're not very good at it. They don't know how to talk to many people. That's not to say they are unintelligent. They're just emotionally very disconnected and unable to really understand what's going on. They're good-natured. They try to do their best. When it comes to appearance, they pretty much use their armor as their clothing. They barely take it off, as they generally anticipate to be attacked. There's been few misfortunes recently that has happened, things that are perhaps too good to be just coincidences. As we receive this kind of news of going to the contract, I would probably be putting on my helmet and boots, which are the only pieces of armor that Una takes off when they sleep, and they always sleep on the ground.
Hey Mauhao is sort of a, some might call him lazy, but he considers his efforts to be of a discerning nature. He only puts things to right that really are worth spending the time and energy on. Otherwise, he's content to take a good nap, perhaps work out and flex his significant muscles, and enjoy the occasional pipe weed. And by occasional, not more than 6 or 7 times a day.
Nice. And you guys can do a little bit of RP, or just head straight to the Wharf Master if you want to.
So
Well, I
did the
mean-
Wharf Master... You first.
I was just going to say, as Una puts on their helmet, they go, do you ever think that the Hive has rent?
That is a curious question. Do you serve the Hive, or does the Hive serve you?
I'm never really sure. And they'll take out the little notebook that they have, and I'm like, who serves what? As they write it down with a question mark. And they're like, I never thought about it, but I really hope that the Hive doesn't make me pay rent. I don't like this whole having to pay someone else all my hard-earned money thing. I really hope that I don't have to do that if I ever find them.
Yes. Landlords are a parasite, charging people their money purely to have a place to sleep. Not the way.
I agree. But regardless, seems this parasite does need their fair dosage of blood this time. So maybe we can head off, see this job we were told about. I mean, it's money. I might not know much about the world, but I know that money keeps turning it around.
Let us hope that the job is easy and the money is lot. How much is a lot?
Don't
Hey
know.
reaches for his pipe to load some pipe weed, and as he pulls out the pouch, he turns it upside down and the pouch is empty. And he says, I do not know about the rent, but my pipe is empty, and that needs fixing. Come, let us go.
I start heading out, but I just check the bag and I make sure that it actually doesn't need fixing. As I say, Una doesn't understand sarcasm, so they will actually check the bag to make sure it doesn't need fixing. And then once they make sure it doesn't need fixing, they're gonna go, I guess it does. Let's go, and start heading off.
And as the two leave the place to the Wharf Masters to find out about this job, camera pans down into the tavern, which isn't that far away, where you find a pirate and his crew. And you guys can go ahead and talk about your characters in there.
You go ahead, Matt.
So, I would say mid-sized, probably no larger than anyone else. Probably standing at about, they're a bit shorter, 5'2". It almost looks like kind of a humanoid rabbit almost. It sits there, which is a very strange sight, as they don't really exist. Definitely not in this part of the world. They have half of their fur is black, the other hair is it's kind of this orange-brown mix, these big floppy ears, and along each of the ears at the back are 3 large silver hoops that go down. They have an open-vested white pirate-style shirt tied loosely together, but it stretches down to a little bit above where the navel would be. These leather chaps that stop right about where the knee is, but they do have very, I'd say, rabbit-like feet, so they're not wearing any shoes of any sort. And they're kicking back, in a chair, their arms up, and right beside him looks to be the mirror image. So they're kind of the black furs on the left side. Their twin, it's on the right, and they're sitting beside each other, kind of leaning back in almost mirroring positions. Both Fuge and Serantish both sit together, and they slowly kind of conspire, I would say, in this almost this made-up twin speak that the two of them have. And as they look around the bar, kind of scoping out different people, maybe even different marks, the two kind of lean over and whisper to each other and giggle behind these four-fingered hands that are there. And strapped to both of Serantish's sides are two rapiers that hang from I would say, a very secure belt that is on their waist. But they are very relaxed in their position. They don't seem to be having much of a care into what's going on or what's happening. They are just observing the scenery currently and scoping out the people around.
Standing not too far away, leaning on the bar and seeming to strike a pose that seems a little self-conscious, is a large lizard folk Shafin. He wears quite similar clothing to Sarantish and their twin, but he's a lot taller. He's around 6'7", 6'8", and he's quite bulky. But yet wearing kind of similar sort of pirate-like clothes, and a battered brown hat. He carries a cutlass, and he's wearing a leather jerkin. And his face and every kind of exposed piece of skin, or rather scales, is crisscrossed by scars. He looks like he's been in many battles, but not always come out well. And yeah, he's looking around the bar, but he's mainly trying to see if anyone's looking at him.
And Evie is sitting next to the twins. She is a Vitagi, and she's probably about 5'6", 5'7", but the horns kind of make it taller. So she has 6 horns on her head that are, pretty prominent for her silhouette. 2 of them curl upwards, 2 on the sides are the bigger ones, the thicker ones, and they kind of curl back, and then the 2 towards the base of her skull curl towards, outwards and towards her face. She's got these very fawn-like ears, and just a fawn-like appearance in general. Blonde hair is long, but always trying to put it back in some sort of simple ponytail just out of the way. But she has a lot of strands that just kind of are wisped in every which way. She wears simple clothing, but she does have fingerless gloves and kind of a wrap around her arms that go up to about 3/4 up her forearm, and then kind of a baggier sleeve. She does have cloven hooves, so she does have a very fawn-like appearance, just from a distance, but up close, obviously not so much. She is sitting next to the twins. She's got a stone in her hand, and she's turning it over, brushing off a bit of the dirt. It's a stone that she got just outside of the tavern, and she's turning it over, kind of appraising it, and she turns to the twins and goes, "What do you think of this one? It looks good, right?"
And Sarantish kind of leans forward a bit, looks at the stone, and says, "You know, I do not know much about stones, really, but..." And they point forward, and there's this, I would say there's like this lumbering kind of guy that's leaning over the bar, and there's a, kind of a barmaid there, and he's like very creepily hitting on her, but like part of his pants are down, so like his butt crack's a bit showing, and she points over and it's just like, "You know what I think would be better, and I will bet you, I would say a silver piece if you can throw this and get that into that man's pants."
She quickly like claps the stone and puts it towards her. She's, no, this is a good stone.
Oh, well, you know, I have, let me see. And they take out a small little coin pouch thing, and they take out like a bone, and they say, "How about this? I throw this to see if I can make it into their pants, huh?"
It's okay, you're safe. Okay.
Okay. And so Serantish is going to kind of aim a little bit and lean back and boop, and see if they can get this stone into like the ass crack of this man's pants.
Target number 8.
Okay, what do you want me to roll?
Do you have the throwing skill?
I do not.
Okay, it would be D20 minus 3.
I love it. I hope I fail. Let's see. A 1. So I think what happens, not a natural one, but still, I think what happens is Serantish like takes the stone and they're like aiming it, but instead of flicking it, they like whip it and hit the dude in the back of the head.
Wait, was it a coin or did she take the?
Sorry,
did they take the stone?
It was a coin. It was like a bone.
Oh, okay.
Like the bone coin. Just a bit. Like sit back and like sink down in the chair, and they're like, "I was not here."
Yeah, Evie kind of cranes her neck to see. Oh well, it almost happened.
It's close.
He barely notices at first, but then he turns around. You can see he's definitely had a few drinks, and he turns around and he says, "What was that? Who's throwing things?" And then he checks real quick to see if anybody's eyes are on him.
Evie quickly goes.
Both the twins are just like inconspicuous.
Shazad will be meeting his gaze just because that's what he does. He'll be like, if anyone's like glaring, he'll just glare back.
He does. He looks down upon you, or he looks over towards you, and from the bar, and he gets this angry look on his face. Do you have the intimidating skill, or if not, just make a charisma check?
No. Okay.
Target number is whatever I roll here.
He's real hammered. He rolled a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Fine.
got this.
Yeah, so I got a 5.
Yeah, he definitely looks intimidated immediately, and then his eyes kind of cast down to the bar, and then turns immediately back around and gets quiet.
Oops.
Shazad grins and picks up his rum and takes another swig.
Evie's now appraising her stone again. I think I'll name it Davi.
Atty?
Davi. What?
Oh, Davi.
It looks like a Davi, right?
I mean, I'm not really one for naming stones, but if you would like to name it Davi, then that is its name.
Davi.
Davi.
She's gonna put it in her pocket.
You notice a fair-looking elf, a woman. She approaches, and you've probably been in this tavern before, I would say, and no Mel. So she approaches and she says, "How are you all doing?"
Well,
Oh, very good, thank you, Mel. How are you
yes.
today?
"I am well, causing trouble, I see."
I do not know what you are referring to, Mel. Because no trouble.
She has a smirk on her face, and she says, "Can I get you anything to drink?
Well, why do not you get my captain another beverage on me? And if you find yourself maybe unoccupied later, and I feel like Serentish has made passes at Mel before, maybe not super successfully, but they're still gonna try.
Yes. Let me see something.
A charisma check.
She smiles and she says, well, will you be here at midnight?
Usually at midnight I turn into a very large carrot, but I can make an exception for you.
I'm sure by the time I get out of work that you'll already have found someone else.
Oh, no, never, Mel, never. You're the apple of my eye and all that.
Of course I am.
Mel, can I still have my herbal tea?
Of course you can.
Thank you.
Only 2 bones. And she looks over at the captain. And for you, Captain?
He looks over and with again, his eyes are just slightly too wide and his stare just slightly too direct and his grin slightly too broad as he says, "More grog."
She says, of course. I'll be right back.
And Shazad, as soon as she's gone, he holds his glass up and nods to Santish and says, "Thanks, that'd be mighty kind of ye."
Of course, anything for my captain.
And he grins back and says, "Keep an eye out. We be looking for more crew."
All right, we'll keep out 4. How about that?
It's completely lost on him and he just nods.
And leaving this scene here, we find the roommates, Una and Hey Hey. They are finally down the street to the Wharf Master. You're right next to the docks here, pretty much, and this is where you can see, let me turn this up here. This is where you can see, the ship that's, what's the name of the ship? Did you guys come up with a name?
Yes, we did. Hold on, what did we decide on?
Storm Chaser? Was that it?
Yes.
We
Was that it?
decided
not
on a
quite
name?
Right. It was the Sky Tamer.
Ah,
The
Sky Tamer.
The Sky Tamer. All right. And going into the office of the Wharf Master, you do notice that in here, he's got windows all around where you can see. He's behind a desk when you walk in. There's a little bell that makes a noise when you come in. And he has these, he's a dark elf, and he has, jet black hair comes down, straight, nicely combed. And he takes his spectacles off when you walk in. He has these exotic plants everywhere that are, just very strange looking plants. Some of them even look carnivorous and, have like teeth almost or spikes coming out of their bulbous heads. And some of them are just beautiful looking. But you do notice that there's this very strange aroma in here. It's kind of a minty smell, and it brings a coolness to your nostrils when you enter. Just a strange sensation that fills the inside of your head when you enter. And Thelric looks up from his desk and he places his spectacles on the table and he says, fair shine to you today. Thank you for coming in. I have a matter I wanted to speak with you about.
But before we get into it, what's that smell? What plant makes that?
This is sage. Do you know of this? It wards off evil spirits. So you have nothing to fear.
I guess I'm still here, so yes, I am not an evil spirit.
Says, indeed. And how are you both today?
Hey will give his a little bow and say, it is much too early in the day to be working, but other than that, I am well.
Much too early. And do you prefer the nocturnal activities, hey?
It is better when the suns have set.
This is true. I find it unfortunate that the guild makes me work during the day. For I too enjoy nocturnal activities. But then who would care for my lovely plants? You can see if anybody has any botany skills. I mean, you could check them out and investigate these, but some of them look like, that they could hold alchemical properties as well. And he says, anyway, I have an important matter for you. There is a new job that I have for you. I know that rent is coming up, and you both probably need some money. So I immediately thought of you.
Yeah, we have to give something to the parasite.
The parasite?
Yes, the parasite. Hey told me that there's a parasite, and if we don't feed the parasite, and apparently they eat some kind of metal, I guess, they eat the money. I'm not sure how it works, but we have to feed the parasite or else they kick us out of the house.
He puts his spectacles back on, and then he looks over towards Hey. Is there something wrong with your living quarters?
The rent is too high.
Is it? I thought it was a good price for your place. Right above the tavern, right above Trade Street, a lovely view.
The view is perfect, but so many coins to look out at what the gods provide for free.
I understand. Well, perhaps this work will bring you some steady coin, and then you won't have to worry about squabbling for little bones here and there. The job is, it has to do with a certain captain, Shazad the Reaver. Have you heard of this one?
Have I
Have we?
heard of them? Yeah.
Do you have any reputation, Shazad? I don't know if you do or not.
A little bit, yeah. He's got a bit of bad and a bit of good. So let me check. Not much. He's got 44 good, 15 bad.
Oh, okay. So probably
Okay.
not enough to have a glory.
I can roll the check.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a glory.
Don't you need like a 1 if you're like unknown? Yeah.
Yeah.
Target 0.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you have
Can't
not.
succeed at all.
Not yet. No, you haven't heard of Shazad the Reaver.
I never heard of them, but I mean, if they have money for the parasite, I'm willing to deal with them.
He will definitely have money for the parasite, I believe. Especially after this job. It pays very well. But I will leave the pay for him to explain to you. I'm sure he takes his cut, and captain's pay is a little bit more than the crew, you must understand. He's at the tavern, right near your house. Please go and meet him immediately.
Hey, who is always looking for an opportunity to go to the tavern, will nod and say, "Yes, we will go and see him." And then, as Hey's leaving, can he sort of look around at the various plants? Any of them look like they might be useful for concocting? You said some of them might be useful for concocting alchemical things. What about poisons or other medicinal plants?
Ooh. You have the poison skill, yeah?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll that. You
Okay.
do not see any poisons in there, actually.
Okay.
You're probably, that's enough to estimate that it's probably like healing properties or, tonics to get rid of fever. There's like an aphrodisiac over there and stuff like that.
Okay.
But unfortunately, no poisons. He walks over and he says, you like this one.
Does it
And he,
have a particularly strong aroma? The one he's pointing to?
yeah, it's very pretty. It has like a purple leaves or purple flowers and red spots all over the stem. And he says, this is the Weaven's leaf. You can mix these leaves and create a tonic that was found in the forests of my homeland. Mechanically, it gives you a d6 HP.
These grow in the wild of your home.
Says indeed, or perhaps you like the white thyme, an aphrodisiac.
Well, I do not have any trouble in those areas.
And he says,
But I
here,
like this other one.
the Weaven's leaf?
Yes.
Oh, here, take some. And he gives you a d4. Whatever you roll on a d4, he gives it to you.
3.
3. There you go. And he says, all right. And he looks towards the door where you can see some dwarf coming in. He says, all right, I have another meeting, I'm afraid. Enjoy your meeting with Shazad, the Reaver.
And Hey will do a bow and excuse himself from the room.
Una is just gonna see Hey doing something, and they're gonna like adjust their helmet, trying to copy something similar, and be like,
Excellent.
And the next scene will be back in the tavern where you're finally going to meet the others of the group. And during this scene, you guys have probably gotten your food already, and you're already eating and drinking. So when the door opens up, you notice a Mintep and a Kuthalan walk into the room, into the tavern. And you guys can take it away.
I think once they walk into the tavern, Serentish is going to kind of stand up a little bit and lean over the table, and then if Shazad is like sitting with them or standing next to them or something, she'll like tap him on the arm and be like, Captain, I think I don't know if they look able, at least they're strong, I think. They point over towards the 2 new people that came in.
He wipes sort of meat juices off his snout and turns towards these 2 newcomers, kind of squints at them a little bit, and then turns back and gives Serentisha a knowing nod and says, "Aye, they look like they have strong limbs. You have a good eye." Mm-hmm. And he puts down his food and kind of takes a big swig of rum and stands up and gives a big sort of like, "Ah, right." And then he turns to comes towards you 2. So you see this sort of lumbering, very piratical looking lizard man coming your way.
So since Una was already going to start asking people around the inn randomly if they were Shazad, and you're coming towards them, they would actually start walking towards you and say, "Oh, hello, are you Shazad?"
That I am. I am Shazad the Reaver, once pirate, scourge of the seven seas, now captain of my own ship, and looking for help. Is you looking to hire aboard?
I mean, I guess we actually sent to help you. We were told that there is some money in it, and we need to feed a parasite back home.
Ah, that there be much gold in it for them as has the courage and the wits to find it. Come, sit with us, for we all have parasites to feed. And he looks uncomfortable and pats his stomach. And he'll lead you over towards the table. And it's hey, has something to say first.
As they are headed towards the table, Hey will sort of lean in and sign using the Mentep sign language that both Hey and Una know, and sign to them, "Perhaps we can get a free meal out of this one. And something to drink."
The food is always appreciated.
Yeah, and Shazad will lead you over to the table. And he said, "This be me crew." And he says, and he points over and says, "This be Evie. This be Sarantish." And what's Sarantish's?
It's Fuga. Fuga.
Fuga. This be Fuga. And we be the finest crew you'll ever set sail with. Come, sit with us.
Hello.
Yes, we definitely be the finest crew. As said, I'm Sarantish, and they will stand up and offer a hand to both of them to take theirs.
Una will kind of take your hand and say, "I mean, I'm sure of it. I've never sailed before, so you're already doing well for yourself."
Well, there is a first time for everything.
I guess so. I still don't know how I handle waters, though, but I guess, yes, there is a first time for everything.
Do not worry, the waters do not bother us much.
That they do not. That they do not. For they is so far below us, there is no trouble to us.
Exactly.
And he chuckles to himself again.
And Sarantish will do the same to Hey.
And Hey will take Sarantish's hand and say, "Very nice to meet you."
And very nice to meet you as well. It is not very often I meet Grimelkin out here.
It is very far from our home.
Indeed. Well, why don't the two of you come sit with the rest of us? I think I was just going to attempt to convince someone to buy us around, maybe? They'll start scanning the bar to see if they can scam anyone for a drink or food.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
I would love to give you a perception check. I think they're actually pretty decent. I say this now. You know, hey, a 10. That's pretty good.
Nice.
There are two fellows, actually, that look like they have some coin on them. On their belts, you can see probably the fullest in there that you notice. And
Ooh.
they seem to be playing cards as well over at the table.
Lovely. So I think Sarantish will stand, give everyone like a little bit of a smile, and then they'll kind of make their way over towards these two individuals. kind of lean over the table a little bit and be like, I see that you are busy, but you know it would be quite nice, especially on the evening like so, is buying my friends and I around and being and me being in debt to you for such things.
The one with the mohawk turns and he looks and he says, "Why would I want to do that?"
Let's just say this, maybe later on there will be some sort of mutual benefit from this exchange. And if possible, I want to use manipulation on them, which just takes 2 magical actions.
Nice.
So that is... I actually don't have speech anymore, unfortunately, because I got rid of it to do skyfaring. But I do a resisted speech or charisma check versus speech or charisma for them. So I will roll my own charisma. 11.
Nice.
So they get minus willpower for this. So they have minus D6 to their willpower checks and social modifiers for half an hour.
Oh, you should roll it. You should roll it.
So they've minus 4 to their willpower check.
The guy with the mohawk, his face kind of lightens up as he sees you talking, and he looks you over and he's like, "You have lovely fur."
Would you like to touch it?
Yes. He puts his hand in.
Yeah, so it's like they can pet them.
Where do you come from?
I come from all over, really. Do a lot of traveling.
The larger man, he's looking at his hand still, but he keeps kind of glancing up, and then he says, "Jacob, are you going to throw down your cards or what?" And then he looks at you and he's like, "Oh, hello.
Oh.
I didn't see you there."
It's hard to miss, but I do not want to keep your card game very long. Maybe if you could provide my friends and I with some sustenance for the evening, then I can provide you with things later on.
Of course. There's more than enough to go around, eh, Jacob? And they both nod. And he puts down like 3 gold coins, and he waves over to Mel. And Mel, you can see her over at the bar. She's already got this big smirk on her face. Probably not the first time.
Oh, because Soda and Tisha scammed many a people, because they usually just like flirt with them and then they'll be like, "I got a job to do," and they like boot scoot out of there.
Yeah. So 3 gold is definitely enough to buy you guys a nice
Perfect.
feast.
So they'll like rub the gentleman on their shoulders before kind of departing and leaving them to their card game, and they'll come back and be like, "Well, we have free food and drinks for a while, so. But we do have to leave in a few hours because I am not sticking around for this."
For what?
For, you know,
More food?
well, there's more food coming, yes.
Why wouldn't you want to stick around for that?
Well, I stick around for the food and the drink, but the promises that I have made for after food and drink are imbibed, I do not wish to complete.
You know it's really bad to go against a promise that you make. You should follow through with your promises.
I understand that I should follow through with promises, but there are certain promises that are okay to break.
No, they're not.
Yes, there are.
No, they're not.
Yes, there are. And I think, like, they're gonna get in an argument.
And then Shazad butts in with, "If Serentish were to make good on all their promises, why, there'd be no time for any work.
It's
Well, then
true.
don't make so many promises.
I can't
But then how
promise.
would we get food?"
Exactly. Captain is correct.
Well, I don't
Oh.
know.
So, meanwhile, this is happening, and Una, for a little bit, doesn't even realize that they're arguing about the food that they're just currently eating. And as it dawns on them, they're like, and places it down. Do you have to fulfill the promises? I kind of ate some of the food.
No, I don't have to fulfill anything. It's fine. You keep eating food. So, besides food and drink and, my own breaking of promises, so what exactly is this job that you mentioned?
Ah, the job.
Yes.
Aye. Gather round and prick up your ears, for I will say it but once.
Oh,
And,
yay.
he pulls out. Does he have a little map he can pull out of the kind of the area just to show where he's talking about, just narratively?
Definitely. I'll actually take you guys over to the map.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So it should be right up here, actually. Can everybody see?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're up at Misgard. Okay.
Here's your boat. There's your little boat marker.
Yay.
And you also have, that's where you guys are in Mistgard. What you're talking about, do you see what you're talking about over there?
Oh, that's where it is. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a job, and a well-paid one if we succeed. But it will not be easy. There's a staff, a lost staff, a crystal staff. Mayhap a magical staff.
A pretty staff? What color is it? What color is the crystal? That matters.
Well, we need to find it, and then you know. Right now,
we
I
don't
has
know,
no
okay.
idea. But
Okay.
the staff was stolen. It was on a merchant vessel called the Endeavour. But that ship sailed close to the Isle of Illusion, and he taps it with his clawed finger significantly on the map, and kind of squints at you and says, "'Tis a dangerous place, not for the faint of heart. If any of you has not the courage to go there, then turn back now." And then he looks down at the map again and says, "Anyhow, the ship ran into trouble. Perhaps attacked. They say there's a pirate by the name of Captain Voldroth of Ichabor, one of the shadow elves. They say he has not just blade but magic at his disposal. A foe to be feared." Yeah, so did you want to say something?
I was gonna say that when you say this, Una kind of perks up and says, "Oh, I know those." And then it's,
'Tis good. You'll be of use to us then. Well, this captain, this Voldroth, they say he likes to steal magic from other folks. And this staff might have fallen into his hands. But whatever has happened to it, it is lost, and we must find it. If we return the staff to NorthDawn, they will give us the princely sum of 300 gold talons. And his eyes light up, and he kind of makes a kind of gesture as if he's counting money, while he's talking. And he does a quick sort of, you can see he's actually tallying people up by this, like with his finger kind of like going around, and goes, "That would make, I think, 50 gold pieces each."
Captain, if you do not mind. And Serentish is gonna look around. Is anybody like listening in on us currently?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Sad was not
is.
speaking
Oh
quietly.
shit! Who?
There is an old fellow that is next to the fire, and he's got a pipe in his mouth.
Shake him.
And he's sitting back, and he's like got a raised eyebrow with his hood up, and he says, and then when he sees you look at him, he smiles and he nods in like a friendly manner.
I don't know, like.
Hey will immediately get up, pulling out his pipe and go and sit next to the old fella. And he's got out his little tamper or whatever, and he's tapping the pipe out on the hearth, as you do to get the ashes out, like you're gonna, get preparing to fill it up. And then he'll pull out his pouch of tobacco, or his pipe weed, and go to fish around in it. And then, he already knows that it's empty and there's nothing in it, but he will feign like, oh, what? And he'll turn the pouch sort of inside out and shake it a bit and sniff it and sigh sadly and look over at the old man with his pipe.
He immediately goes down to his belt pouch and fishes out some tobacco. He says, "Let me help you there, my friend."
You are so kind. Thank you. And Hey will fill his pipe. He'll, as he lights it and begins to puff away, creating lazy smoke rings as they go, say, "Do you know about this Isle of Illusion?"
"Indeed I do," he says. For many years ago, I was one of the spell guard here in the city. We hunted down criminals. Criminals that stole magic like the one you were speaking of over there. I'm sorry to listen in, but it's all I really get to do anymore. My name is Balon. And you are?
So at that, the introduction of names, that's sort of really important to Hey and where he's from. Hey will stand and bow formally. Hey, Mauhau. I am pleased to make your acquaintance, Balon.
That name sounds familiar.
At that, sort of, Hey's ears will sort of flatten back a little bit and say, "Which name? Hey or Mauhau?"
Both, actually. I believe I knew another Mentep, a similar name. Do you all share similar names?
I think Hey would say, "No, we do not share many names. But Mauhau is a common family name."
Oh. I believe it was, Tehe, that's right. Maybe no relation, I suppose. A great adventurer.
So Hey's ears will definitely flatten further back, and he will say, "You know a Tehe?" And then, one ear will sort of spin forward as he cocks his head to look at Balon.
Indeed, I've heard stories about Tehe Mahau, a great Mudai adventurer, and his companion, Norgar, the troll. But, I suppose that's another story for another time.
Does this great Tehe live here in the city of Misgard?
No, I don't think so. If he did, I'm sure he would be constantly barraged by fans.
Hey will sit back down and smoke again lazily on his pipe, and will just mutter, "Yes. Well, tell us more about your time in the Spellguard and this Isle of Illusions."
Yes, this place, the Isle of Illusions. It is a dangerous place, sailing through this area. There is something that they call the Veil Mist. If you've ever heard of it, it is a dark cloud, a dark entrance to another realm. It often crosses the alternate planes and lets in creatures from another realm. The Black Plane. It is a vile place, and many ships get lost in that area. I would say you would have to be a very capable captain to sail through that area. And he looks over towards Shazad when he says that, and kind of winks.
Is this guy like within earshot of everybody? Like, is he like? Can we hear him talk about this in the tavern?
Definitely. Like he's not like maybe 10 feet from your table, I think, over by the fire. In a single chair, you know. But as far as that, you don't think anybody else heard or was listening. It's kind of loud in there.
Well, our captain is pretty capable.
Ah, finest captain has ever sailed. Nothing less. And he knocks back more rum. He seems to be more sure of himself the more rum he drinks. And he then calls over. What was her name again? The server?
Mel.
Mel. Yeah, he calls over Mel. Mel, bring us another. There's a good lass.
She quickly hurries up and brings over another and smiles over it. Was it Boros?
Serentish, you mean? Because there's the Boros
Yeah,
twins, who
that's
are
right.
the twins, and then
Serentish.
and Fuge.
Serentish. That's the one that was flirting, right?
Yes.
Serentish.
Serentish, yeah, that's me.
Hey, we'll say to Balon, we'll say, you have come, join us, won't you, at our table. We have many foods and drinks.
Indeed, I would love to, but I don't want to take all of your food, of course.
Oh, it's okay. We have somebody here who can always get more food for us.
Exactly. Thank you for understanding.
They go back on their promises.
Slap. Just the arm. Just bop.
Mel definitely nods her head to Evie when she says that.
Shazad lets out a belly laugh.
I'm wounded by all this unneeded attacking of my character. Ugh. I need a drink.
I'm not
so
attacking your character.
I'm
I'm just saying the
attacked.
truth.
It's not the truth. It's lies. All lies.
But we
It's-
just talked about it.
Lies. Don't listen, man.
How do you pronounce the other one?
Fuge.
one? Fuge.
Fuge. Yeah.
Fuge. I forget sometimes. I'm
Sorry.
going to be running.
Yeah,
Fuge.
you're running Fuge. Haha.
Which one is? It's a brother and a sister.
No, so well, Serentish is non-binary, and then Fuge is goes by he/they pronouns.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So he is he as flirtatious as?
I would say Fuge is kind of like the quieter twin, when Serentish is very much
Perfect.
more like in the front and everything. Fuge like is quiet, observes. Like they've got a really high like perception. I think they've got a really high dexterity and stuff like that. And they're also a thief. So usually it's like Serentish is like the boisterous one, gets the attention, and then Fugue can kind of sneak behind and like take stuff from people and then walk away, and like they're all good together. So that's kind of how they operate.
Do you think Fugue would have stolen something already by when you were running the those two guys over there?
Probably not here. I mean, if Fugue wants to, but probably not, especially since this is like a home bar almost.
Right,
like we've been here before. This is like one place like we don't steal here. We don't like shit where we eat sort of thing. So yeah.
Sweet.
We're careful.
Okay. Cool. So he's sipping his drink quietly. Balon comes over and he takes a drag of his pipe and he sits down and he says, yes, plenty of food. And he says, I will tell you that area, many of the floating islands, they start there. And many ships crash there or get lost, never seen again in the Veil Mist. You must be careful, Captain Shazad.
They do say 'twas in the area of the Veil Mist that this ship was lost, the Endeavour. I have a map, but I will not be sharing it in this place. I'll be keeping it close until the time be right. And then he looks across and gives Valon what he thinks is a shrewd expression, but is probably looking a lot less shrewd after the amount of rum he's had. And he says, so you has experience of this Veil Mist, then?
I have. Only once, though. We did cross into it. And through we passed. It took only one night, but half of the crew it took with it. As if they vanished when the mist crossed over the ship. Just keep the fires high, though. And make sure you bring plenty of lanterns on deck.
How do you keep fires high?
Just make sure that they're bright, you know?
Hey says, with a generous amount of pipeweed.
Agreed.
No, 'tis oil a lantern needs. And he looks very confused, and then turns back to the man and says, you has experience of this. Be ye looking to take ship? Experience one last adventure before death claim your old bones?
Oh no.
That's rude.
No, my adventuring days are long behind me. I have grandchildren now here in the city.
You settle down. I can understand that. I will never do the same, but I can understand it. So your advice is to keep the lanterns high, the light bright. Anything
Indeed.
else we should know?
I don't know the exact location that you might be going, but just be wary. They're the things in the mists. They do not like light so much. I believe it is always dark in their plane. Perhaps the fire or the light will help you.
So not just high, but a lot.
And on. Always.
Oh, we can set up a bunch of candles.
I do not know if candles will be strong enough.
But they would be pretty. Just imagine like all the little candles
You're right.
along the the deck, and then you can have like lanterns, and you can like decorate the little lanterns up on the little posts. It'll be pretty.
It'd be pretty, but I think it might be with that much. Maybe it's small fire hazard.
We'll get the candles.
Okay. We'll before we go, we'll purchase some more lanterns to put around the ship, Captain.
That we will. Thank you, Saren.
Of course.
And he looks across at Evie and says, if ye be wanting candles, 'tis in your own cabin they'll be living. On deck we will have the lanterns and we will have brightness. We will be safe.
Okay. Candles in my room, I guess.
But no fires. Remember last time.
Well, what's the point of the candles if I can't put the fires on it?
I will not have fire on my ship again.
But the lanterns, they're going to have fire.
Yeah, but they be, like, safe. And he's looking a little bit at sea because he's never very good at conflict. He tries to bluster his way through it. So he looks across at Sarentish and says, you tell Evie I cannot reason with her when she's like this. Is it she pronouns?
Yeah,
Yeah, yes.
Here.
Cool. Phew.
Sarentish says, it is fine. Evie, you and I will set up a nice little light show in your room, and then the rest of the ship will be lit without issue of anything catching on fire again. We are ready.
But how can I have my candles set up if I can't put the light in it?
Do not worry, you and I will figure it out. We will make it pretty for you.
Hey will lean over towards Evie and say, are the candles scented? So the aromas. Sometimes very nice.
Well, I don't know if I've never seen a scented candle before, but that sounds amazing. Captain, would scented candles be okay?
Scented candles can still cause fires.
But they smell good.
We'll just get plates or something to put underneath, so if fire goes down, it'll go on plate and everything's fine.
The ship is still standing.
Yes. Or sailing.
Shazad's looking very uncertain about all this, but
It's fine.
he's reassured by the fact that Sarentish is saying it's fine.
It's fine.
So
It's fine.
he sort of subsides a little bit, but he's kind of rumbling in his throat a little bit and grumbling and muttering to himself a little bit before he fully calms down. You know, by the way, that his general technique is if anyone disagrees with him, he often doesn't have good reasons for the stuff he's saying. In this case, he does, but he often doesn't. So he tends to bluster and say that the other person is being unreasonable or insubordinate or something.
Mutiny!
Yeah, you're used to him, yeah. He says, there was one thing I should mention on top of what we've said already. The reward for the staff be not the only reward. For this captain, this shadow elf, were he to bring back Captain Voldros' head, why, that be another 200 gold. A princely sum. Aye, I see it in your eyes. Hey, you have the lust for gold on you. We'll make a pirate, an honest seaman of you yet.
You will be the loveliest seaman. Hey.
Do I get to wear one of the hats? And he points at Shazad's hat.
A hat such as this is earned, but I think you may earn it yet.
At that, he cracks a huge smile with lots of canines visible. It's a little unsettling.
Shazad likes it. He goes, I like your smile. I like the cut of your jib.
At
The bonding.
He looks
So
very
really,
proud.
The reward will be the friendships along the way.
The seaman along the way. Sarentish just starts laughing.
The old man, Balon, he says, do any of you dabble in magic?
I do.
I dabble in magic.
Oh.
Oh, indeed. Well, perhaps this could be of use to you then. He goes in his shoulder bag and produces a couple of mana potions and hands them to you.
Oh, how
Each-
exciting!
Each of you get one mana potion that it instantly heals 25 mana when you drink it. And he says, and here, 2 scrolls for you. He says, may they help you. I have no need for them anymore. My red magic days are over. I usually only use divination magic anymore to see if my bowels are going to be moving all right.
Are you sure about this? This is very kind.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Please, take them.
Evie looks over at Una. Do you do any scrolls?
I'm not really sure. This is actually because I don't know if Murai use scrolls.
Oh, do you have scrollcraft?
I don't.
Okay.
Basically, anybody can use the scroll. It just adds an extra action point to casting the spell.
So like what's on the scrolls?
Yeah, it's a one-time use of let's do Fire Sphere, unless you guys have Fire Sphere. I like Fire Sphere.
They're both fire sphere?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically a one-time use of that Fire Sphere spell.
Okay. So Evie will take a look at the scrolls and like read over it, and then hand one to Una. It's the same spell.
Thank you. I'll keep this. And they start putting it in their backpack. Or their kind of basket that they have ropes tied around their back to look like a backpack.
Where is fire sphere in the spell?
Red magic.
Red magic, yeah. You can actually copy and paste it directly from the handouts over there on the right.
Oh.
There's a magic section with red spells.
Wow, fancy. Who wrote this game?
Boom. Boom.
So guys at
Alright.
Arcanum Syndicate. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Fire sphere. Ooh, this is fancy.
This is good.
So in terms of a scroll, obviously this is my first spellcaster, really. So do I put it in like abilities, or is it like under the spells and in like the
Go to Mystic. The Mystic tab.
the mystic side? So it's under that.
Mhm.
Okay.
And you can just copy that spell exactly, and then just paste it in the description, and then you can just grab whatever you need, like the spell effect is D8 or whatever, and then the drain, you put the drain in there.
Okay. Cool.
When it says protection, this is kind of weird. I don't know if this was ever changed, but put a capital like T, and then a dash, and then the other letter, and then a dash, and then another letter. You know what I'm saying? If it has like a T and A and a FR, you would put T-A-FR. For some reason, it doesn't show up when you put commas.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, I think commas are now fine when you click on the character sheet, but the macros still have
Yeah.
commas.
Okay.
And if you're using a scroll, yeah, like I said, it just adds an action point to, because you have to read it, So, yeah. Unfortunately, it's only one, but it'll be an extra one, and you don't lose mana because of it, because the spell has already been placed into the scroll, and that's one of the cool things about scrolls is you can make them. If you know how to make them, you can make them like in downtime and then have scrolls ready. All right. Any other RP here in the tavern?
I think Sarantish is, and I just want to note that both Sarantish and Fuge, they don't eat like any of the meat brought to the table. They only eat like the vegetables and the fruit and anything like breads, that sort of thing. And they have very blunted teeth. There's nothing sharp in their mouth at all. But like they'll make sure to like leave if they have to leave ahead of everybody and be like, I'm going to go back to ship. Like, they're gonna head out before, so those guys who are gambling at the table don't like see them leave. Maybe they'll like try to sneak out and be like, I'm not here, and just skadoodle away.
Mel is definitely going to be looking for you.
I'm going to sneak away.
Let's make her perception check.
So I can
Does
go
anybody else want to do anything before this
buy some
before leaving?
lanterns.
No, Shazad's been looking at the Balon very suspiciously because he's incredibly transactional himself, so he can't quite get his head around. He's always suspicious if someone's actually generous. So he keeps glaring at him suspiciously now and goes quiet.
Hey, well, definitely this pipe weed that has been shared. Is it just tobacco, or is it have any additional properties?
It is just tobacco. It helps with regularity. That's what I need. All right. And any other purchases before you guys take off to the ship?
Is there pipeweed that can be purchased, or is it illegal in Mistgard?
No, you could definitely purchase some. Do you have the book there opened up to that
I do.
location? Yeah, you can go ahead and roll, and it's right on Trade Street too, so you'd be leaving the tavern and you guys can purchase whatever. There's the availability percentile, or you could use Wanderer's Utilities, his website there, which is awesome. Do you have a link for that?
Yep, I'll drop it in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah, if you're shopping, this is a great tool to do. It'll roll availabilities for you, and you can add up all your costs for stuff if you want to shop. But
Are we also getting extra lanterns? I forgot.
They're so expensive. They're like 4 gold per lantern.
ooh,
Jeez.
I will
They're
say you
just
guys
so
have 3 on
expensive.
the ship. Well,
Wow.
3 on
3.
deck anyway.
All right, let me check and see my.
Yeah, I gotta check my money.
And if you
Money.
want to, if you need to at all, there's your ship does have a ballista that's up in the front of the ship. If anybody knows how to use artillery or siege weapons, you can operate that. It usually takes a couple of people, so even if like one person is shooting, if they have the skill, they won't get the negative. But there's like somebody to grab the spear and load it up, and it usually takes a crew of several people to run one. But and there should be a cargo section. If you guys want to add stuff to it at your leisure, you're welcome to. Like right now, there's like gaff hooks and crates, and there's a keg of ale and a keg of water, and there's a sack of grain and a sack of salt. If you guys want to add anything that you buy, you're welcome to put it on the list there. Everybody should have editing capabilities. It's under cog ship, which we can name your ship. What's the name? Sky Tamer?
Yes.
Sky Tamer.
So I just had a question, more mechanical one. So I have siege weapons, but I don't have the one that says ballista in specific. Am I still able to use it?
No, that's perfect. That means you can use all siege weapons without suffering a -3. If you got a specialization in ballista, it would give you a +1, and that would be another skill slot. But you can always save that, for when you get more experience points to buy stuff. So that's good.
So I do think Evie is going to buy a lantern for herself, and then probably like 3 oil flasks.
Nice. That's awesome.
Down
Before we
7
leave,
gold.
sorry.
Oh, just yes.
Before we leave the inn, Shazad turns to Hey and Una and says, "Well, you've heard the job. Are you signing up?"
Yeah,
Maybe
as you ask Una, the parasite actually takes a lot to feed it, so I don't really have much of an option. I think I'm taking the job.
Excellent. And you?
Hey will say, yes, I will be taking the job.
Good. And he spits into his palm and holds his hand out and says, "You take my orders and cause no trouble. Them's the terms."
So I know that Cathalons are bugs. How much like bugs are they? Like if I spit into my hand too, do the same thing. What kind of liquid is coming out of that?
Your saliva is very acidic, so it might burn a little bit on his hand. But then again, he's got scaled hands, maybe. Do you have a toughness
Just
at all, Shazad?
spicy.
Let me just check.
I think you
do. I do. I've got toughness 1.
Okay, yeah, cool.
And
It wouldn't damage him.
I do the same.
excellent. And as you clasp hands, there's a slight sizzling there for a second, and Shazad's eyes light up and he says, "Ha ha ha ha! A few secrets, have we then? I love it." And then he turns around with this kind of mix of the 2 saliva still in his hand and turns to shake with Hey.
I think Hey will reach out and take Shazad's hand, and has a firm grip. And he will sort of bow his head and say, "You are the captain, and I will take your orders."
Good. Then we has an accord. And he says, "The ship be the Sky Tamer. She be moored by the first wharf." And he sort of tells you where to find the ship and says, "We set sail at dawn. Be prompt." And then he nods to you both. Just collects up any coin that was left on the table that Serentish didn't take, and just sweeps that into his coin pouch, and then walks out. Because he had no money left at all, so if there's any money there, he's just swiping it.
So,
Una.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Una, before they head, because they're actually going to head to the weapons store, and before they do so, they're going to look at any food that was left behind, and they're just going to scarf it down. Like, just completely, as everybody's leaving, they will start speeding up their eating to make sure that they can catch up, and after there's no food left, they're going to start heading to the weapons store.
There's a whole bunch of tongues come out and just start like bringing it back in. It's horrendous.
It's funny that you say that, because I was gonna have any meat or fish that's been left on any of the plates, he's just picking it up and grabbing handfuls of it and sort of rolling it up and just stuffing it in. So so between the 2 of them, they pick they lick the platters clean. No shame about it whatsoever.
Mel does catch you as you're finishing up the meal, and you notice that she looks around. She doesn't say anything about you guys eating, but she looks around and looks for she looks like she's looking for somebody, and then she kind of frowns a little bit and and then puffs and blows a little strand of hair out of her eyes. And she says, well, have a good one. I'll see you when you come back.
Do I notice that they're looking around for someone? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
At this point, I'm just going, looking for someone? You look like you're looking for someone?
Oh, I was just expecting the twins to stay around.
Oh, yeah, I think they say that if anyone asks them about them, that I should tell them that they're very busy. Yes, they're very busy.
Of course they are. She smiles. Thank you very much.
No problem. Always happy to help.
You look very hungry. Do you want anything for the road?
This is for the road.
Oh, I see. And then she watches you scarfing all the food up, and she says, all right. Anything for you? Hey.
Hey, well, that's when he'll take his opportunity. He'll say, I would like to purchase some tobacco, pipe weed, if you have it.
She smiles. Of course, right over at the bar.
And Hey will bow and head that way.
And you got the prices there?
I do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Are we? Okay.
Evie's also going to get 1 gold worth of candles, which is 20 candles.
Nice.
Amazing. I just bought a lantern and like 1 flask of oil because I had like 5 gold left and that's it. And it's just like, well, now I am poor. Damn. Oh, we should try to find someone to steal their coins.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Did I get any coin off the table? Is there anything left after we do all the food?
I don't know. I think Sorrentius just kind of gave Mel like all of it, like most of it. Probably like, I would say like 2 gold. There's probably like a gold left. So in like various coinage, there's probably like a gold left on the table. But the 2 gold went to Mel to like give them lots of food, and anything else is just extra for her.
The tip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just the tip is all that Sorrentius will give her.
Badoops. All right.
So in that case, Shazad will leave a silver coin for the tip, and we'll take the rest.
All right. I think Furge would want to pick a pocket, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this. And you'd probably run.
Interference, yeah. Sorry, I got a cracker in my mouth. So.
That's all right. Oh, am I looking at the right skills?
Yeah, they should have, I don't know if they should have sleight of hand. Maybe.
Wait a minute, I think I'm looking at Evie's skills.
Yeah, let me see. Shooting, magic, armor, creative, roguish, concealment, lockpicking, looting, stealing. There we go. They got stealing. They're really good.
Oh, maybe I just didn't do the macro.
Oh, good. Yeah, so Sedentes will fully run like interference. I'll find a mark, and then like engage them in like conversation and just be like, oh, then isn't the moon so pretty tonight? What's your name? I'm Serentish. I'm kind of new, like I'm just exploring, like, and look around. Should I roll like a distraction?
Yes.
When,
if you want to make a concealment, yeah, charisma.
Cool. I'm 100%. I do actually have speech. So
Nice.
Can I roll speech?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. I'm 100% gonna speech this person. I'm not gonna
every.
Pardon?
For every target 5, I'll
Mhm.
say you add a +1 to their result.
Sick.
To his result.
I will try. 10.
So +2, so he gets an
Mm.
8, and their perception while you're running is a 2.
Amazing.
Sweet. And we're gonna say he snagged 8 gold.
I'll split it between the two of us. So I got
Nice.
4. Cool, I have money back. I won't buy anything else.
And you guys are staying the night? One night?
In the ship, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so the next day then, if there isn't anything else going on that night, unless anybody has something.
I was going to go to the weapon store. to
Oh,
try
okay,
and
yeah.
see.
Alright.
Hey will go with unless you don't want him to.
No, absolutely. He is most welcome to be with you. So, as Una kind of opens the door, whoever is behind the counter knows at this point, if Una has been in Mistgard for a while, that they keep coming. And the reason is I just rolled for a hackmuck, and it's available, and they keep basically coming, looking at it, and being like, I really want to buy this, but they don't have enough money. So this time they'll go in and they'll be like, hey, so I just got a little work, and you know, I was thinking, I could I buy this? I don't have the money now, but you know, maybe we can do something. Maybe I'll owe you, or do one of these things like the parasite does, where like I pay them every once in a while.
You notice in when you walked in there, the weaponsmith or the armor is of a Tagi, and he's got the horns, spiraling down his head, and he looks like pretty big and tough, wearing a leather jerkin. And he says, he looks at you, he looks you up and down, and he says, if you don't have the coin, then you gotta hit the road.
Yeah,
This
but
isn't a charity here.
I mean, I have some coin. It might not be, all the coin that you need, but I mean, I'm sure we can strike something. Maybe I'll give you a little extra when the job is done. I mean, who doesn't like extra money? I know the parasite loves it.
How much coin do you have here?
Well, and they kind of open their pouch and they're like, I have 11 now, but I have a job, and I gotta say, some good coin is coming from it.
How much is the item you want?
It's 26.
And you have 11?
Yeah.
And let's see, what is that item that you want?
A hackmuck, or the big buck stick.
Oh, yeah. He says, he looks over at it on the wall, and he says, that's a lot of coin to front you. I'm sure you've probably seen this person before. Go ahead and make a charisma check, unless you have a negotiation skill or barter skill.
Oh no, and I'm terrible at charisma, but I'm gonna still do it.
Actually, if it's okay, Hey at this point, they've known each other a long time, and knowing Una has wanted one of these things for some time, so the fact that there's one finally in the shop, Hey will step forward and see if he can try to negotiate with this individual and say, my friend is very excitable, but very passionate and very, very loyal and honest. I have known him many hundreds of miles. We have traveled together. Tell you that he will pay you every coin that you are owed and more for allowing him this service. A charisma check?
He's just looking at you, like glaring at you.
You got this. You can do it.
If you have a high enough charisma too, you can also burn a frenzy to throw in your social pool if you do have.
Do I need to call that before, or can I do it after?
You can do it after, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like adding to the argument or adding to the.
Oop, do it.
All right. I will spend a frenzy, and I will.
He's like, if you don't have enough coin, then I can't help you. Oh, that's so close.
Ah!
Yeah. How many times? Wait a minute. Let me see my social pool. Do I have more than one? No, I only have a social pool of one.
Go ahead and roll your charisma as well, Una.
Just is smiling, just like tongues flicking out.
Is a teamwork type effort. I like it.
Barely.
Okay. He it takes some haggling, I think, that we don't have to get into. But he does say, all right, I'll front it to you. You give me the 11 coins, but when you get back, you pay me an extra 5.
Yes. Thank you. I promise I will have the money back as soon as possible. And as they basically say this, they just put all the coin on the counter and go to grab the hack mug, and they're just like, yes, I finally got it.
He smiles and he nods. And he says, "It's a good one. It'll serve you well."
Yeah, I know. It's. I've been looking forward to it. Thank you very much. And they kind of tip their metal helmet again. Like, thank you, and they just start running out of the store, just kind of like as a child who just got a very like a toy they were looking for. They just run out of the store and they're kind of moving about with it.
Before Hey walks away, because I imagine he ran out first, or Una ran out first, and then I imagine Hey's still there, right?
Yeah.
So the Vitagi armorer, he says, "Make sure that one comes back alive."
And at that point, Hey will draw this really just massive sword that's just covered in spikes and jagged edges. It is also a Kuthalan weapon. And he'll point to the weaponsmith and show some of the scars along the blade and say, "Nothing gets past this blade. He will return alive to pay you."
And he smiles. He says, "Good luck."
And Hey will give him a small bow and head outside to catch up with Una.
Keep the fires high. All right, I have to go to the bathroom. Please excuse me.
We're gonna do a pot, I guess. Well, I mean, this is just gonna keep running. I mean,
Do a break.
break time. I need an intermission screen. Boop bloop boop boom.
Quick word from our sponsor.
Yeah, we're sponsored by let's see, what do I have in my room that I can say that we're sponsored by? We're sponsored by Michael Scott's paper company.
Nice.
We guarantee you'll be satisfied because your satisfaction is our guarantee. We guarantee it. Thank you, Michael Scott's paper company.
I'm personally sponsored by water, keeping people alive ever since we started.
H2O, fuck yeah.
Hey. Dihydrogen monoxide. Right. Back in a bit.
I'll also be right back. Like this time.
Acting.
And we all scoot into frame.
I don't know why I didn't think of scooting beforehand. Like, I got up earlier just to, like, go get a drink, and I'm like, how am I supposed to get out of frame? So I just, like, slinked
I
down.
know, I saw that, and then he just, like, came up. Like,
I thought nobody saw it. I was like, okay, good.
100%. All I saw was just, like...
Because I was like, I don't know what to do. And then, like, whenever we went on break, I was like, oh, I could have just, like,
just
scooted
get up.
over, like, you know.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I know a more dignified way now.
Just boots scooting out, just like... Friendly just eating around. I love the lag that comes with it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Aren't we just a bunch?
I love that backdrop back there.
It's nice.
The background. The background Friendly's got going on.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's a nice
Very
bed.
nice. Very nice. I have my office here with my books surrounding me.
I've got a couch.
That's a great
I've got-
point.
Beautiful.
Nothing exists.
The great
Nothing
white something.
survives.
I've also got. You can't see it. I have a picture. I need to get the art. I need to find the artist again because I love it. It's a picture of Tina from Bob's Burgers, but in the style of the Mona Lisa that I call the Mona Tina.
Nice.
Let me.
Hello.
Hey. We were just enjoying everybody's backdrops.
Nice.
All right, we all ready?
Yep.
So, I was thinking, this journey here could take you 7 hexes a day. But since you're flying, maybe it would do 14 hexes a day.
Ooh, we fast.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make more sense?
Oh,
Because
hell yeah.
if you were
Yes.
traveling,
Yes.
Ooh,
That
I
would
like
be
the
We fast as
shower.
fuck, boy.
because if you were in the the other campaign, the caravan, it's very
so slow. This is amazing. 14 hexes in one day? Hell yeah.
Yeah, whereas the other campaign is like 1 hex a day.
Mm-hmm.
Just boom, boom, boom,
Like
boom.
walking along the road. So about a day to reach the edge of the Isle of Illusion.
Love it.
Spooky, I love it.
But that'd be flying pretty fast, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way to fly.
Yeah.
Lower the sails.
I mean, it's totally up to you too. If you want to take that route straight across, or if you want to stick to closer to the islands, or whatever you want to do. You're the captain.
Ah, yes. He's straightforward. He goes straight for it. Yeah. He's
Alright.
Oh boy.
Let's go to the ship.
Oh, the ship map.
To the ship.
nice.
This is the ship. I wanted to let you guys get acquainted with the ship.
Mhm.
Gabriel is on board the ship. He is your NPC ally. Is he the navigator, Shazad?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so he would be the navigator. And he is a human from Eichelbor. Eichelbor is a land to the east of here, a human land. Mage Realm is very much composed of all races, and they're all very welcome there. And it's a good place because in the south there's a lot of hatred towards spellcasters. And a lot of them are like burned at the stake and stuff in different places. So Mage Realm is a place where they're safe. They can be they can use their magic and stuff like that. There's laws and everything, of course, but they have the spell guard and people that govern over them as well. But and there's a lot of crazy magic there, like the place you're going to with the floating isles. The reason this is like the only place in all of Koth where there's floating isles, and something happened to the gravity here, where it's all weird and all very strange. They think when the moon was struck during the shattering, and the pieces of the moon fell to the planet, it happened here, and it broke apart the country there. Kind of gave it its shape, but they think that something happened due to that caused the islands to float. So there's a lot of mystery. Nobody really knows the answers. A lot of ideas. And as you guys get on board the ship, I also want to show you guys underneath where you can pick out your homes, or if you want to stay on board, sleep above deck, you can do that too.
No parasites here.
No parasites.
Parasites, yeah.
I wanted to leave it as open as possible, so I only did one dynamic lighting in the middle where the mast is. So you can see kind of pretty much there's a room down here that somebody could stay in, or 2 people. And then there's a room up here
Oh, sorry.
at the front of the ship.
I think probably Evie's claimed at least like that front room, probably. Right?
I mean, she stays on the ship, but I don't think that, because I'm pretty sure she came in after the twins.
Yeah.
So I think that they would have to establish where they go.
Well, I had said, so I don't know, there probably isn't, but they probably, honestly, they sleep like here. They don't care about having their own room and their own space. They don't seem to know about kind of people's like personal stuff. Sometimes they'll sometimes just like assume everybody's is everybody's and be just like, oh, I'm thinking this, like, and they'll kind of share around, but they don't have any sort of like knowledge of, or at least want to not share. So both Boros and Fuge, the Boros twins, they kind of sleep in the same cot together all the time.
Okay. So, where's the captain's quarters? Was that up top? Did I
The
miss that?
captain quarters. They saved the best for last.
Ooh.
Captain Shazad gets his own quarters. Yeah, it's above deck, and it's the very back of the boat. There's a door. It's kind of hidden near the entrance to below deck, and that is right here. If everybody can see that.
Yes.
Ooh, damn.
Oh, Mr. Fancy Pants.
He's got his own desk. He's got a little fireplace if he wants it.
Oh, wait,
couch.
hold up. You got a fireplace in a ship?
And he was talking about fire in the ship.
I thought about that.
Wow. And he's got a
Evie's-
bath? Can we use this bath?
Yeah. The bath.
It's just full of seawater.
Oh my gosh.
That's fine.
And
With
is
free
it right
scales.
next to the entrance so you walk in and
Yeah.
like,
You walk
Zod's
in
just taking
the
a bath?
bath.
and he goes,
Yeah. And there are no suns.
oh no.
And there's a brig. If you guys saw it, it's kind of down by the mast below deck. So yeah, there's your tour of the ship of the Sky Tamer.
Very nice.
I had a question. Which would be colder, if I slept in the crow's nest or if I slept in the cold room that's down below?
I think the room, maybe. I think the room.
Yeah, Evie would be welcome to like anybody who wants to go in
Aw.
there.
I don't know. That's a hard one because there'd be a lot of wind up there. It's up to you, I think. If whatever you would prefer.
I think if Evie's already taking the room down below, Una's just gonna take the crow's nest, nice and cold.
Una's okay with being roommates with Hey Hey, but not Evie.
I mean, the twins will be roommates with Evie. We just like
Trust
we just
with
like
Hey, you know.
we just like snuggle in a little pile on the bed, just like bunnies. They're very soft.
Should I move that bath out of the captain's quarters, or do we want to keep it there?
Keep it. We all just
I think
like
it's fun.
we just keep
Yeah.
we just kick over the captain's quarters whenever we want a bath, and it's just like a weird communal bath that we like sit in.
It really is just seawater. He's a Sharfine. He likes the seawater.
Yeah, he's
so
like,
yeah.
People taking baths and the captain's just at his desk, like, you know, doing notes or looking at the map or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all very comfortable with each other on this ship. It's fun.
Sweet.
Little semen between each other.
All right. Let's do it. So, put some music on here, and I would say this scene is probably you guys taking off. You know, getting onto the ship the first time or whatever. I think that's a good one. You guys just come aboard the ship, and Captain, if you wanted to be the first one on board or not, but you
Yes,
do know that
definitely.
Gabriel Bade is he's there, and he waves to you as you're approaching. You know, and then he says, "Captain."
Gabriel, how fare ye?
Good. Welcome back.
It's good to be back. And he kind of runs his hand along the ship's rail, and he almost seems to be kind of stroking the ship, and he looks just very pleased to be back. And he looks at the ship with this sort of very kind of satisfied, proprietorial, almost loving look. And he says, "I'm back, lass. I'm back. We'll be taken to the skies soon. Don't you worry."
Gabriel smiles, and Gabriel wears some tattered brown clothing. His garb is very basic. He does wear like a cowl, the hood that drapes over the shoulders. Earthy tones. He's got a small blade on his belt. You notice his pants, though, are a little more vibrant with like blues and gold trims and stuff. And nice boots, big boots. And he says,
Cool.
He says, "Well, new members to the crew, I see."
Aye. More have signed on if we have a job. And Shazad will kind of clue him in as to where they're going and why. He says, they seem good sorts, but of course they'll have to prove themselves.
He nods and he says, "Well, I trust your judgment, of course, Captain. I will go set it all up.
Aye.
And pull
Aye.
anchor."
Once all are aboard, aye. Pull anchor. And let's set sail. And he strides in a way that can't just be his normal walk. It's a definite conscious stride. He strides to the front of the ship up here, and then stands sort of posing up here next to the ballista for a moment, trying to do noble captain look number 3, and then he'll just make sure that as he's casting very surreptitious glances back, so he makes sure that as the others all come aboard the ship, he's giving this look with one hand on the rail and looking ahead at the horizon.
Una's going to be like coming up right behind them, and they're going to just kind of, after they see that they're striking this pose, they're just gonna take a seat. I assume these seats are actually there since they're kind of shaded.
Oh, yeah.
After they see them striking a pose, they assume something is going on, and they just take a seat and start looking at them. Like, interesting.
Evie's going to approach Hey and Una. Have you guys ever flown on a ship?
Hey, would you like to go first?
Let me turn my mic on. Hey will turn to Evie and look terrified and say, not wild-eyed, "The ship flies?"
Well, yes. How do you think we're going to get to where we're going to?
In the water?
But there are like floating things. It's super fun, trust me. So whenever we start, just like hold out your arms, and she'll do a T-pose. Just hold out your arms and like close your eyes, and you'll feel like you're flying. It's so nice.
Hey will consider this and then have a seat and pull out a pipe, begin loading it with tobacco.
Okay. Shazad will turn and come striding back and come over to them and say, "Welcome aboard the Sky Tamer, fastest ship in the skies. And then he'll look proudly round the ship and say, "We're about to set sail, so if any of you has any last second thoughts, now's the time, before it's too late."
I had a thought. It wasn't my second thought, it was actually my first thought. But regardless, how does this thing work? Normally boats are in the water, but this one obviously is taking a different route.
Aye, 'tis magic, so 'tis. 'Tis great magic, mysterious and powerful. And then he just kind of nods as if he's answered any possible questions you could have about how this all works, and kind of nods wisely, and then walks through the middle of you and says, "'Tis a pleasure to have you on board." And starts walking back here towards Gabriel.
I had one more thing, as the kind of owner says as they're walking away.
Of course, and Evie will be happy to answer all your questions.
Evie's still in a T-pose, and then she looks, her eyes are closed, and then she looks at Una, and her hands are still, or her arms are still out, and she's like, I can try. What's your question?
Una kind of not understanding what's going on. They assume that this is something like the stuff Hey does to introduce, so they strike out their arm, and there's kind of a wall here. They just strike out their arm as well, and they're like, I had the question. Could I take the goat's nest and stay in it?
Oh, well, I suppose so. I mean, you can also take up the post if you'd like. You're good at seeing things, right?
I not really. I mean, I'm not bad either. I'm not the best at it.
Serentish kind of
cold up there.
Yeah, Serentish kind of calls out, "You can have it during the evening, but during the day, a few guys up there."
I see. I guess during the morning I could take this thing, and they point back at the ballista, which at this point is behind them. I should say they're pointing by turning their body so that one of their arms is pointing back towards the ballista.
Oh, so you know how to use that, or do you just want to go over there and like hang out with it?
Yeah. I'm not sure really when I picked the skill, but pretty confident with that thing. Also, when does the social ritual kind of end? My arms are really hurting me.
Oh, I was just and she lowers her arms. I was just anticipating when we would take off, because it feels nice. Remember, if you hold out your hands and you close your eyes and it feels like you're flying.
At that point, Hey will he blows a big curly smoke ring, and he says, "I already feel like I am flying," and he holds his arms out.
Well, we haven't even started. What does the spirit?
I think while they're chatting, because the twins have been on the ship for a very long time, they know like order of operations, like what goes on, and they are very fast. How long is the ship itself? Like, I just want to see. They can nearly, in a full round, they can basically get almost in a full round. They can get almost across the ship. So they're just like running, like back and forth. These two rabbits. You see them like hauling on cargo, strapping it down, making sure everything is ready. And then I think at some point Fuge will like climb up the shroud and get back and like hop into the crow's nest and get ready. And then at some point Serentish is gonna kind of go near like all the riggings and stuff and be like, "Captain, let me know when we are ready to cast off."
Thank ye. And he turns around to Gabriel and says, "Ready to make way, Mr. Bade. Cast off." And then as soon as he replies, he'll call back to Fuge and let Serentish know as well.
So immediately, as soon as like the anchor's lifted, Serentis just jumps extremely high up in the air and kind of grabs some of the riggings and stuff and pulls it down. Like the mast unfurls, and they kind of swing around the main like post, like bringing down the rope and then eventually securing it very tightly as the mast just drops into full sail.
And as that happens, there's an immediate kind of snap forward of the sail, and then the ship just starts to move suddenly. And as it does, Shazad just lets out a belly laugh of pure glee because he just loves to be under sail again. So probably for Hey, as he's just getting this sudden sensation of movement and realizes he's flying, it's accompanied by this sort of like, this be the life. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Hey.
Yeah. Hey will nod appreciatively and purr out. I feel it, yes. And he's still got his arms out.
And Shazad turns around with eyes wild with glee and says to Serentis, we'll make a sailor of that one yet.
Yes, we will. But first, you'll need to be getting jobs or something around the ship. It cannot be just me and Fuge who are doing things. And Gabriel, of course.
Too true. I'll leave the details to you. You has my full trust, Serentis.
You got it.
I think Fuge definitely looks down at Una and says, there's room up here for you as well. Anytime you want.
Thank you very much for the offer. I don't see anybody else taking this thing, so I think I'll just manage it when we're flying. But I'll be up there at night.
Fuge waves. And Gabriel looks over to Shazad and he says, Captain, should I activate the Void Stone? Are we ready?
That we are. Everyone, hold on to everything you can hold. If it's dear to you, grab it and hold it fast.
Hey wraps his
Just
arms
grabs
around
the
himself.
Hackmuck.
Serentis just kind of hangs upside down on the shroud, just like within like all the like ropes and stuff. They're just hanging out.
Evie holds on to the ropes, being the only one with hooves. She doesn't really have air legs. What's the equivalent of like sea legs for this? But
Air
she doesn't
legs.
really have that, so she's holding on, knowing full well like, okay, this is the routine. I don't want to fall.
Yeah, the ship takes off and it heads straight up into the sky. Shazad, are you gonna pilot? You
Yes.
wanna make a check, the first of many.
Okay.
I will
so
say I
Sky
also
Tamer.
have seafaring just in case. So
Ah,
Oh, I didn't seem to have the right skills on my macro. It's okay. I'll just do it in the sheet.
Cool.
Skills.
I'll try to make sure everybody's macros are fixed by next
Nice.
game.
Cool, thank you. Go.
whoa, look at this!
Nice.
Nice.
So it's probably pretty astounding and amazing. You can explain how you take off into the sky.
Yeah. So as we start off as the Void Stone is activated and we really start to move in earnest, Shazad, the steering wheel's not just a traditional ship steering wheel. It's got an element of a yoke as well, so you can pull it forward and back. And as he sort of yells once more for everyone to hold on, he just pulls back on it, and the ship just swoops upwards into the sky. And it's a fairly steep rate of ascent, but comfortable. No one's sliding across the deck or anything. But there's an immense feeling of power and grace from the ship. And he just heels it over very slightly and slowly to get onto the right bearing. He's holding a compass in his hand, and then he snaps it shut impressively as they get to the right bearing, and spins the wheel to straighten up and brings it level, and then just takes a deep breath of the free air and says, "Ah, the free skies. There's nothing like it. We be our own masters and mistresses here. There's no one to constrain us. Do you feel the freedom?" To no one in particular.
What?
He doesn't even really seem to notice that you are not giving the reply he might have expected. He just nods and says, "Aye."
Would be basically holding on for dear life on the ballista. After you fly for a little bit and they realize they don't need to keep holding on to their hackbuck, they're going to stash it and just be holding on to their life in the ballista. Yeah, so they'll recognize what you say, but they're simply just too afraid to let go to actually turn around and answer you.
And when he thinks that he's not the subject of so much attention, Shazad will turn around to Serentish and say, "A better one this time, I think. Not so bumpy."
Serentish is kind of hanging upside down currently, just hanging on by feet. Their arms kind of crossed over them as they hang there very casually. It's really just a show off, especially for the new people. And they're like, "Yes, this is definitely a wonderful day to be traveling across the high skies."
Aye, 'tis no life like it.
He's a wonderful one.
And he just settles down now. He's got his compass out, and just as we go along, he'll just check it occasionally to make sure we're on the right path, the right bearing, and he'll, apart from that, just be breathing the free air and chuckling into himself for no reason sometimes, and generally looking very happy.
Aww.
Gabriel.
By the way,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry. I was going to say, after kind of the seatbelt sign is off on the whole flight, Una's going to start loading and preparing the ballista for combat, since they notice no one else is around. So they're going to be doing all the prep so they don't have to do it in case of an emergency.
I think Evie is gonna when she does the charm stone ability, does that have a duration, or I guess how long the effect stays on the stone?
Oh, it's permanent.
Oh, okay.
You can make charm bracelets for everybody.
Yeah. Well, it takes 6 hours to perform the stone ritual. How, I guess,
You have plenty of time now. Yeah.
yeah. So she's gonna, and I can choose the attribute of choice?
Mm-hmm. And whose would you want to work on first?
Alright, I'm going to make...
Who's the real best friend?
Who's your best friend, Evie?
a captain first. You know, because
That's a
that's...
privilege of rank. Yep.
Yes. So, let's see. She's going to, I guess, what would you say? I guess I could, like, discuss with the captain, like, what kind of thing he would want.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
It,
like
mechanically,
what? Yeah, mechanically, like, what sort of thing do you feel like would be the best for him?
What kind of thing? What's the option? Is it kind of stat
It's
boost?
just, yeah, it's a I can do +2 to an attribute of choice. So I haven't chosen the attribute yet, but I was gonna consult and see like if you had any preference.
Oh, that would be great. I think for him, probably intelligence.
Okay, so then I will work on the charm stone with intelligence for the captain.
Ooh, thank you.
And let's see.
Of course,
I have to do-
he would say something like judgment, you know.
Yeah.
Enhance me judgment. Tis sound, but could always be better.
Crystal lore check with a target number equal to the rank of the attribute. So is it my attribute that I'm doing?
it would be his attribute. The rank of his attribute is not the first number, but it'll be the second number next to your attribute.
Rank 4.
Rank for you. So your target number is that.
Why is my crystal lore? Where is it?
Could be under magical skills.
I didn't do anybody's macros. I forgot.
How dare you
It's
do
okay.
all this work and then not do? I'm just kidding.
I was looking through the macro. I can just do it here. Crystal lore, where is that?
I did too much time on the ship.
It's under magical skills.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay. I did my own macros like a boss.
Are you kidding me?
No!
Why?
Her first attempt, not good.
Oh no. So I think. Okay, there's. It doesn't look like there's any bad thing that happens to the stone. It just doesn't latch on. It doesn't work. So I guess she'll try again. Since I mean, it takes 6 hours. How like? I guess at the end of 6 hours, it just doesn't work. Would she have enough time to try it again?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys have yeah, you could try one more time for today.
Okay. So she's not gonna tell the captain that she failed. She's just gonna kind of like, look at the stone and go, oh, okay, maybe not that beat. And then she's going to pick out another stone and try that one, really concentrating on it, and hopefully.
Nice. What's everybody else doing with their time on the ship?
After Una has prepared the ballista, they're going to take the hammock and they're going to do the like weapon ritual that the Modai get to bound themselves with the hammock, and they will call it the big stick.
Nice. Oh, and when you're, just so you know, when you're putting it in the damage, whatever the damage is, make sure right after the dice you put an exclamation point so it explodes when you roll it.
Are you talking to me
No,
or
that's,
him? Okay.
yeah, that's for Una.
So apparently this just lasts forever, right?
It does. It does.
So after she enchants the stone, she's going to wrap it in a little bit of wire, just decorative wire. It's going to look nice, and then she's going to also attach that to a pre-made friendship bracelet that she has colors of green and blue and a bit of red in there, and it's got like a nice little kind of a, what is it, arrow look to it, like all the little woven parts of the friendship bracelet, and she's going to hand it over to Shazad. She's going to be very proud of it. The rock itself is nothing spectacular, but it's not like huge either. So she'll hand it over. It's a friendship bracelet, and it should fit around your wrist just fine. I made sure that it was a little bit bigger since you are a very big man, and so yes, it should fit you. Do you want me to put it on?
And Shazad's trying to put it on by himself with his claws, and he's not doing too well there.
Here,
You know,
let me.
He
And she'll.
hates to admit he needs help with something. Perhaps 'twould be best, for magic be not my area.
And it just goes on like this, and see, you can take it off easily if you just, do this little number. But then, you can put it on. You can probably use don't use your teeth. That might cut it. But yes, as long as you wear it, it will do exactly what you wanted.
'Tis a fine gift. Thank you, Evie.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
And he kind of looks at it, and he kind of holds it up so it catches the light, and says, 'tis a fine thing. I be wearing magic on my wrist.
I think while everything's kind of going on and whatnot, and Sedentish has kind of done their job to like secure the mast and adjust things, adjust the rudder, make sure like things are smooth, everything's working properly, and that they're flying properly. They probably go up to Hey at some point, kind of seeing what they're doing, and then say, "So, you're definitely from far away. Do you mind if I ask exactly how did circumstances bring you to the metaphorical door of my Captain Shazad?"
Of course. I've traveled with my friend, Una.
And does Una lead you to every place that you're going to go?
No. Una leads me to every place that they are going to go.
So where do you want to go?
He scratches his chin for a bit and then finds that really good spot on his chin and like really scratches it for a moment and then sort of licks his and then kind of gets under there again and seems to have forgotten that he's in the midst of conversation for a moment.
Yeah.
And
Sedentish
then-
will like snap their little like fuzzy fingers, be like, "Hey, you're a bit lost."
What was the question?
Oh, where do you want to go? Was the question.
And he will sort of gesture, to everything around him and say, I am always where I want to be.
Another person who avoids questions with giving very generic answers. It's nice to meet someone else who does this.
And at that, Hey will smile and bow his head and say, You understand perfectly.
Indeed, I do. And Sedentish will smile with their little kind of flat teeth. You can see that the front two teeth are a little bit longer, actually decent amount longer than the others. And if Hey doesn't kind of keep the conversation going, they'll kind of go off and continue kind of doing stuff around the ship and eventually literally just jump their way up to the crow's nest.
That's an impressive jump, right?
Yes, so they can go up to, they're not charging, they can go about 12 hexes in a single jump.
Wow.
Yep.
You
I
land
do
up
have
there
it.
next to Ferget.
Yeah, so Fuga can also do those, but Shazad just likes to, flex. So, yeah, they land next to Fuge and kind of sit on the edge of the crow's nest and kind of kick their little feet out, and look to Fuge and say, I have a bit of concern, of course, with this trip. I feel like it's going to be a bit more dangerous based on the amount of gold that's going to be earned, but we will see how it goes. Hopefully no one dies this time.
I agree, of course. I think this will be very dangerous, especially heading to the Isle of Illusion.
Let's hope we do not get lost in the mist.
Of course. We will never be split apart.
Serentish will take Fuge's hand, kind of bring them in close for a hug, and say, no, not like the others. Long may they rest.
And Fuge looks kind of sad at the mention of that. There's only 2 of us left.
Yes. Only 2 of us now. I'm not too sure what that means for the future, but as long as we're together, I think we'll be okay. And Sorentish isn't very sincere around other people. They're, very lackadaisical or laissez-faire. But with their sibling, they're kind of very close and very open with their emotions. So they bring in there to Fuge for like a hug and just kind of squeeze him a bit. Say, I'm not too sure what I'd do without you if anything happened.
I do not like thinking about it.
Let's not think about it.
Fuge hugs you back. Should we play the game with them? The rope game. You know, where you jump off the ship and swing, and then swing back?
Yes! And they'll immediately, grab one of the ropes from the top, and they'll kind of call down and be like, Una! Hey, would you like to see a trick?
Tricks, yes!
And Shazam knows what's coming, so he starts chuckling. Sorry.
So I was just gonna say they take out their notebook expecting it to be some kind of magic or technology trick, which they're really interested in. So they take out the notebook like, yes, show me the trick.
So Serentish takes the rope, and they don't really have much of a running start, but I would say with their jump that they grab onto one of the ropes, one of the looser ones that of course is secure because they've done this many times, and they just kind of springboard themselves off of the crow's nest, and they just fly, and then they fly off the side of the ship.
At this point is when Una is just kind of like, oh, no, and they drop their pen and notebook and they go looking over the side like, is she dead? As they, of course, at that time she'd be going around the ship, so there's no one there.
With the momentum, I would say, they swing around, and the rope's not quite long enough to get all the way to the other side, but it gives them enough momentum to kind of fling up into the air and then land on the deck and do a little tuck and roll, and then kind of get up and be like, yeah.
As you're doing this, you hear Una say, they're dead! I think they're dead! I can't see them! And as they turn around and they see her, oh,
no one can kill the great Serentish. I am forever.
That's very impressive. Can they do that as well? And they point towards Fuge.
Fuge, they look up and says, Fuge is not one for theatrics, I will say. I am the one who inherited a lot of the flair, I would say. They kind of do this very like a striking pose. Just trying to. They're very much about themselves in this moment.
Furgay says he shouts down from up top, and he says, "It helps you get over your fear of heights. If you want to
Yes.
practice it."
I think Hey will walk over to the edge of the ship and will lean way over and look down just to see how far up are they.
Did you get pretty high, Shazad, you think?
Yeah, but if we normally get a bit lower for this, then he would have done that sort of kind of surreptitiously so that people still think they're high.
I did roll random weather, and it's very sunny, still air, clear skies, so it's like perfect weather out, and you guys can be in the clouds, and you can see like little islands way down there. You would probably die if you fell into the ocean, but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely the rope trick is they tie you on and harness you, and it lets you practice your rope skills and stuff like that. But I mean, there's always danger involved.
As they do this, Una kind of being afraid of what they just saw because they genuinely thought that Serentish just died and fell off the ship. So they're taken aback a little bit, and instead they try to, every time somebody is taking that same leap, they try to keep moving the ballista to track them, as if they never attack them, but they're like seeing all these tricks, and they're like seeing if they can keep aim on them. So they just go down to the ballista and they're moving the gears and kind of moving it up and down and seeing if it would be on target if they had shot, which they don't because they're busy actually moving the thing.
Right. I would say if there's anything else, are you guys good to move on?
Sure.
I think we have, I will say, I think we probably have set up in Evie's room, maybe the like candle, at least the setup, at some point, just to get like her room prepared. Put like little plates down underneath these little candles so nothing will hopefully light on fire. Hopefully.
This time.
This time.
So we'll say that night comes along. What was it we mapped out? 1 day?
Yep, like one day.
To get to the Isle? Alright. And then you would start to get probably pretty close that night, yeah? So, that night, let's do this. Turning off the lights.
Oh. Ooh.
That night. So in the nighttime, when it comes, the weather. Let's roll for the weather real quick.
Would Fugue be able to like kind of maybe make a weather sense check beforehand, just in case,
Yeah.
to like see if there's anything bad and prepare?
Yeah, definitely. Whoever has that skill can roll that, the weather sense.
I can roll it for Fugue. Ooh, heavy winds. We're moving faster.
So Furia would probably shout down that the winds are going to be picking up. Or that was Shazad. Right?
Holy shit! That was for Fugue too. They know exactly when the weather just changes slightly, and it's just like, well, there's gonna be this. They're so good.
And we'll say just for a little spice, some rain start to happen as well.
Oh, I don't like being a wet rabbit.
Oh, I love it. Refreshing.
Ah, my fur is wet.
That night, you notice Gabriel comes up. He's got the map, in his hands, and he says, "We'll be coming up to the area in just a couple hours, Captain."
Thank you, Mr. Bede. And he calls out to anyone who's on deck. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep wary. We's coming up on the islands. This is a dangerous spot we is heading to. But I has great faith in you all. A finer crew never set sail.
Aye, Captain. We'll keep eyes out in case.
Captain, are we supposed to move these lanterns up to the crow's nest? I thought we were supposed to have all the lights or fires up high. Is that what we're doing?
Worry ye not. The Boros twins will take care of it.
Of course we will. And they'll start spreading out and kind of, I think, along like the entire ship. They'll like in different places they'll put lanterns and such, and they will keep one up in the crow's nest, but there's like kind of spread out everywhere.
Evie has her own lantern, and for a moment she looks at the lantern, holds it, and then thinks about holds it out to the side and thinks for a moment, probably thinking about oh, can I attach this to my
Yes.
and she'll see if she can slip it on there. Of course it's a big thing, and she's gonna shake her head a little bit, and then she's gonna be like and then take it off and then light it and then just hold it.
And
No.
it's not. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, sensing that some of the other members of the crew seem to be getting nervous, he will draw his weapon and will sort of pace casually, just around the outside, of the deck.
Shazad's casting an eye over everything that's going on and nodding approvingly.
Yeah, Una is just going to kind of give the sign of thank you, because they really appreciate that they're patrolling around. And when Serentish comes to pick up the kind of lanterns, Una will be particularly asking for one to be kept at the front, so that when they're aiming the ballista, they actually can see what's going on around them, and they can see the gears and everything like that, so they're not slipping. Because they know how to use these things, but they're not very good at it. They still need to see what they're doing.
Of course. There'll be a light near the front for Una, near the ballista. I think near where that light is, that is on the map. That's where they're kind of hang the lantern, make sure it's secure. So I think in a lot of these places where lanterns are already placed, that's where they'll be.
All right. And in the dark, you can see. Well, everybody make a perception check before you go seeing stuff.
I have twilight visions.
I have
Yeah.
infrared. I'm not sure if that really matters at
You
this
had
point.
infravision.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Infravision is limited in distance, but it's very cool if you can see invisible things and and heat sources and cold. So definitely useful.
It's
But
not
yeah,
doing my
just
dice
perception from
something.
everybody. Oh, and if you haven't played before, you just go up, click on your token. You should be able to go up to your attributes, the button at the top, and you can click on perception there. And
Yep.
no modifier, just hit enter.
Fuga failed miserably with that too.
Same with Una, I think.
Yeah, Evie is too transfixed on her lantern. She's thinking about decorating it.
That's perfect. It's like, oh yeah, this
Bedazzle.
lantern's beautiful, but you know what would be more beautiful? What if the panes were crystal?
+5 glass.
Have you ever seen a stained glass lantern? No, I haven't, but you know, that would be awesome.
Ooh. I want to do that.
You guys notice the distant flashes of lightning, off kind of on the horizon. It's not very close to you. These bolts, and it'd be something that the captain would always want to avoid, flying through a direct storm. Especially with a lightning storm. But you do notice that the mist around you is starting to grow heavy. The fog, it seems like, is starting to surround the ship. And I'm going to whisper something to Hey real quick. Is what you see. Because everybody starts to feel a little bit tense, and you start to feel uneasy by the situation of flying through these clouds. And it's up to you, Shazad, if you want to keep your high, altitude, or do you want to bring it down to look for that shipwreck, or what do you want to do?
Bring it down now, because I can see that the lack of vision is unsettling everyone, and want to be able to see what's going on. So I think get, say, 100 feet below the clouds, and then start bringing it lower as we get closer to the island.
And as everybody works together to, go ahead and do a piloting check, and the twins can do the piloting as well if they have the
Cool.
skyfaring skill.
Only Serentish has skyfaring, I think. So Fugue is more of the eyes and the weather sense, where Serentish is more of the muscle. I'm gonna pull shit around, sort of thing.
Yes. And Una, you're manning the weapon, right?
Yes, I was actually going to say that as Una starts feeling uneasy and Shazad starts lowering the ship, they would actually point the ballista upwards and start kind of looking at the mist, almost expecting something to come out of it.
So, Hey, who's standing next to Una, will place a hand on Una's shoulder, and will point in a direction, and say, "Turn your fancy crossbow. The eyes in the darkness there."
Una kind of gets spooked just by Hey touching them. He's like, eyes! And they just start working the ballista into going with the direction that Hey told them to go to, and they start aiming it in that direction.
And then Hey will then work his way over to Evie and whisper, "There are wings in the darkness."
Wings? Like birds?
Hey will shrug and then jump to the top of the crow's nest.
Hello.
The nice
Nice
trick
legs. I know.
I learned from you.
Interesting. What would you like?
Be on guard. There are creatures in the darkness.
Hmm.
I hear the sounds of wings.
This is not good. And Serentish nods to Fige, and they will take out their rapiers, kind of crossing their arms and pulling them slowly out. Actually, they'll just take one out for now. Kind of hold it aloft. I feel like we'll be
Yes.
under attack.
Just as you mentioned that last thing, you can all hear the flapping of the wings, and through the dark, you can see this strange winged, like bat-like winged creature fly by, and the eyes of it, and a screech it lets out. It's almost reptilian-looking, with a long tail and almost the size of one of you normally is its body, and its wingspan is probably double the size. And it screeches as it flies by and then kind of disappears into the dark. And then you start to hear more of them circling the ship. And as you ready your weapons, I think we should probably call it here.